in their self-interest, or it's just a group of individuals. What causes this thing? Because it's not an issue which is at Wits alone, but it's an issue which is national. So what causes financial exclusion and what causes historic debt? Historic debt in the country is over 13.3 billion. So this is a concern. Each and every year we see institutions protesting, each and every year in, year out. Hence, even in SRC, we said that Plate Zimande and Buti Manamela must resign because there is something wrong which they are doing in that position. There is nowhere every year by the same issue. So what causes this historic debt? Just to inform South Africans, to inform members of media. Historic debt is caused by loss of funding. And what causes the loss of funding? It happens that NFSAS defunded students who were doing LLB. So there are students who were defunded by NFSAS. When they entered at Wits, NFSAS said, if you want to do LLB, you can do BA law. After that, you will do LLB as a postgrad. Last year, NFSAS came back and said, I will no longer fund those students. So those students were defunded and they had no options. Secondly, what causes loss of funding? COVID-19, we cannot take away COVID-19 from this thing. COVID-19 is something which has hit the globe very hard. So during COVID-19, there are companies which were funding our students, but because there was a loss of income, those companies decided that they will defund those students so that they can save revenue. So that those are the causes of financial exclusion. And we have to admit as the NSRC that financial exclusion and academic exclusion are interlinked. There are students who are academically excluded because of reasons. And we must ask ourselves as people, why do students get academically excluded? There is no student in all university who goes to university and plans to fail. There is an issue in our country which must address academic exclusion. There are students who come to us and say, I've been academically excluded because of GPV, I could not write my exam. I've been academically excluded because of ESCOM. I stay in the building where there is no power for about 2 days or 3 days and I cannot study there. So there are reasons for financial and academic exclusion. As an SRC, we are saying these students are eligible. What do we mean by eligible? They stand a chance to register and they must register. Our stance is clear. Everyone who enters university must complete his course, must get a degree, go and work, and he'll come back and pay the university. One thing which you must realize as South Africa and everyone, that institutions of higher learning are a microcosm of our society. What happens in our society happens in institutions of higher learning. So what we are fighting is Wits SRC. It is not a Wits issue, but it's an issue of the society, it's an issue of the country. So what causes students to fail? One may ask, as I've said, is conducive study areas. Study areas which Wits grants to our students are not conducive. The accommodation where students are squashed, those accommodations don't have generators, and how do you expect a student to perform while ESCOM can go out for 3 hours and Wits University used to provide data for those students? We have said to them, please provide data for students so that when there is load shedding, those students are able to continue with their studies. And Wits University said, no, we won't provide that data. Those are the reasons for those academic exclusions. Secondly, there is an issue of a transition from high school to university. Back in first year, there was a student who were doing computer science, both of us. That student was from Ekwako. When he entered to Wits, he was supposed to code the program, but he did not know how to switch on the computer. I had to assist the student to switch on the computer. So students do not choose to fail. And as an SRC, when we are saying all eligible students, these students can be readmitted, but the university is declining access because they are saying they do not have money. Wits University says 94% of their students have been registered. If that is true, then why are they deploying over 500 bouncers in their university? If that is true, if only the 4% needs to register, Wits has the money to accommodate them. Wits last year was doing a centenary campaign and it has raised 2.7 billion. Shirona Patel is right to say I'm a council member, and as a council member, I'm privy to this information. Hence, the students are this frustrated to say the university has money. The university has done this before. During the years of Adam Habib, the university was able to say students who are owing less than 120k must register. So it's something which is feasible, it's something which is not far-fetched, and it's something which is genuine. And as an SRC, we'll continue to fight that cause. Now on the issue of NFSAS. NFSAS said to us, accommodation will be kept at 45,000. So with NFSAS operates in two ways. There is private accommodation, which is not Wits building, and there is Wits campuses buildings. For the past years, accommodation was 45,000 for all those private accommodations. So our issue is, we said to Wits University, and accommodation cost us 60,000 roughly here in Johannesburg. If you can go to Joburg, to Cape Town, everywhere, a bed to sleep costs 60,000 and above. But you have signed lease with these service providers to say you'll only pay 45,000, the rest is on the student. So that's the issue we're having as SRC. We are saying if NFSAS is providing 45,000 for a bed, then a student must pay 45,000. You cannot expect an NFSAS student to pay more than what NFSAS is giving. The balance must be catered by the university, because it is the university that signs deals with these service providers to say, NFSAS is very clear. NFSAS says we are giving you 45,000. So we must find accommodation that charges 45,000. The university enter negotiations with these businesses and say, charge students 60,000. They will pay. And students don't have the money. For you, the criteria for NFSAS, there are three criteria for you to be eligible for NFSAS. Firstly, you must be a SASA beneficiary. Secondly, your household income must be less than 350k. Thirdly, if you are disabled, then it means your household income must be less than 600,000. So let's take a case of a student who is a SASA beneficiary who comes to Wits. A SASA beneficiary comes to Wits and accommodation costs 80,000. NFSAS only pays 45,000. They are saying that student who's a SASA beneficiary must cover the balance. And there is no way that a student who's a SASA beneficiary can have 35,000 in January to cover the balance. We are saying Wits must absorb the debt. And we've been speaking with the Vice Chancellor. The Vice Chancellor verbally agreed to us and said, no, the deficit is 84 million for our campuses. We will absorb the debt. I said, VC, give us something in writing, because we know if you just verbally agree, come the end of the year, students will be owing 40,000, 50,000 because of that deficit. And they won't be able to register next year because your policy says students who are owing less than 10,000 must register. So all these first years which came to Wits, who passed very well, they're into accommodations which cost 80,000 and NFSAS is paying 45,000. So the remainder of that money must be paid by them. That's our fight. We are saying Wits must absorb that remainder. If accommodation costs 45,000, a student must pay 45,000. A student must not be expected to pay more than that, because that student is an NFSAS student who comes from a poor background. Secondly, we said to Wits University, please release allowances. Please release allowances. Students came here roughly. Academic year was supposed to start on the 21st of February. Students came here a week before that. Till today, some of them have not received their allowances. And I do not know how does Wits University expect a student to live and survive while the allowance is not yet received. That's the issue we are facing. And we've been saying this to the university since last year. These are not new talks. And as I've said, as student leaders, we are never violent. We are not violent. We engage up until engagement is exhausted. And from the point where we are standing in, engagement has been exhausted. Wits University does not want to reply to our demands. Hence, we have took the route of taking it to the street. Hence, we have said we will shut down the campus up until those demands are met. And it is not us, the SRC, who said that. It is students who are saying, I don't have a place to sleep. Next year, I will be expected to pass very well. But how do you pass very well when you don't have a place to sleep? Hence, as an SRC, we are saying, give us 1,000 more beds. Wits has given us 500 beds, and we appreciate that. But the number of students who have come to our offices exceeds that number, and we cannot leave those students behind. In my office right now, there are 2 students who are sleeping there. I have sacrificed my room for a student. I sleep with a friend. These students who you see protesting, these are the SRC members, 22 of us. And all of us have accommodation. All of us have graduated. So this is not a personal thing. These are students raising their genuine concern. And us as an SRC, we have no choice, but we are obliged to say no student must be left behind. We said to Wits University, one of our demands, the 10K upfront payment must be waived. And Wits University said to us, no, but there is hardship fund that covers that. And with the hardship fund that the university gives, it's only 500,000 which assists those students with the 10K. So if you divide 500,000 with 10,000, it's only 50 students who are assisted by the fund. And we are saying as an SRC, waiver that fee, put it into our student statement. We don't have it now. We will pay it later. Same as registration. For you to register at Wits, you must pay 10,000 upfront. There is an option to waiver it. So that's what we've been saying to management. Waiver it. We're not saying scrap it, waiver it. And it has been done the previous years. I don't know what's wrong with this current administration. And the issue which we are having, if you can see in our protest, you see black students who are suffering. And one thing that agitates us as an SRC is black incompetence. We cannot have a chair of council who is black. We cannot have the vice chancellor who is black. We cannot have Churi Lamin is black, the chancellor. The CFO Maureen Manyama is black, but black people are struggling. Wits historically is a racial university, which for the past 100 years have been excluding black students. And now Wits has turned 101 years. As an SRC, we have said, this is a century of inclusion. Black students must be accommodated at Wits, and black students will be accommodated at Wits. That is the hill as an SRC we are willing to die to. The issue of hardship accommodation. Wits, yes, it provides hardship accommodation, but it is only for 270 students. Hence, we are saying extend the hardship accommodation, give us more money, because there are more students who need this money. And Wits management has been saying no, there is no compromise. Everything which we raise, and the cases which we are raising are cases which are based on precedents. This has happened before. Please do it again. There is really something wrong at Wits University. We have the member of Nehau here. Black workers are struggling in the university. And we are saying, up until the university is student friendly, up until the university is workers friendly, we will render it ungovernable. I want to say that at 1 o'clock, the Vice Chancellor requested us for a meeting. And at 1 o'clock, we are meeting the Vice Chancellor. And if these demands are not met, we will continue to shut down the university. We are resolute on that. Yesterday, we were supposed to meet the Vice Chancellor, and I want to tell the members of media what happened. We were on the ground before you were chased out, and we went to meet the Vice Chancellor. On our way to the meeting, we received a letter from ENS, which is the litigation company that Wits uses. So Wits University has sued the SRC, and we have handed over the matter to our lawyers. So it shows that there is arrogance from the management. How do you demand a meeting with students and threaten them with a letter of suing? The Vice Chancellor has suspended one of the SRC members. And as an SRC, we consider those suspensions null and void up until our issues are answered. Before I close, I want to close with a quote to all students in South Africa and to Wits management, to government, that says there is no point in thinking that everything is going to stop when the SRC is suspended, arrested. When the SRC is suspended or arrested, because these are not Apio Mnyamana's demand, and these are not the SRC demands. These are the students' demands. Wits University may suspend me, the country, the government may arrest me, but they won't stop the call of free education. Our struggle is of free education. If we have free education, then these problems ngabaziko. And free education was promised to us by the ruling party. Hence, we're very frustrated to see the ST of a ruling party throwing reckless statements, make us wonder, who are these people who are leading the ANC? How can you be a liberation movement and take the side of an oppressor? I think I will end it there.
Thank you, Mr. President. We'd also like to thank the South African Youth Economic Council for joining us today. We also have Nehao, which joined the protest yesterday, and their sister unions will also be joining the protest from Monday. So over here we are joined by Mr. Thabo Modise, who is the Secretary of the Wits, Begin Kize Nehao branch. Over to you, sir.
Manda. Greetings, comrades. Good morning. I come from a branch which is called Begin Kize. Begin Kize was one of the workers at Wits University. Begin Kize is one of the founding members of Nehao, which is now a national union. So there's a serious link between Wits and Nehao. Comrades, I would like first to start by quoting the request rate that was transcribed yesterday, because there were a lot of incorrect statements which were used yesterday, and some of them are very shocking. We are a recognized union at Wits University. Actually, we are the only recognized union, if I have to be politically correct. Then we have a staff association as well, and for academics. We had an official event planned for yesterday. And yesterday morning, Wits University management called us to a meeting, raising concerns that our event might be hijacked by students because of what's happening. We said, okay, fine, let's assume it will happen. How about you allow us to use the Revolutionary House, which is called Solomon Mahlangu House, as staff members then? So if you want to separate us from students, the answer was no. We said, okay, fine. This is very funny actually. At Wits, we have all these buildings which are named after our former leaders. We have Solomon Mahlangu House, we have Robert Sibuke building. But during such times, we can't access those buildings. And this is a time where, a building like Solomon Mahlangu House, should be seen as a building that's hosting such events, because we are very much attached to such names, but we are not allowed to enter those kind of spaces during such times, which is like, it's a serious contradiction. But anyway, so comrades, workers and students at Wits, we also have a serious relationship with the students because apart from the SRC, SASCO itself, and ANC Youth League are also our alliance partners, because now we are affiliates of COSATU, which is part of the Tripartite Alliance. So whenever we have an event, we are not surprised when students come and support us. Whenever students have an event, they're not surprised when we come and support them. So people must not misunderstand, whenever they're seeing, collaboration between students and staff members at Wits. It's because, we are alliance partners. And by the way, our event was not hijacked yesterday. We had a very successful picket as workers of Wits University, which was attended by a big crowd. We have close to 1,000, I think, workers which came out to show that, what we are picketing about, which I will explain, was well supported by staff members. It so happened that we were forced to use the same venue. So it was an automated, amalgamation, of which we welcomed, by the way, because, it's our forces which were there. So we decided, why waste resources? Let's sing one song. Let's dance together, unlike now, we didn't want to, I don't know if you've been to Avalon, at Soweto, whereby you have a funeral here, then this one must pause and allow this one to sing and pause, so, that's waste of resources and time. So, us collaborating and moving together, it made sense. Now, the question is, why were the workers of Wits University out in the sun yesterday instead of being in their offices or workstations? The main issue was deadlocked with the university on the 2023 salary negotiations. Yes, we have not received our increases for 2023 salary increases. The university is doing something which is strange. The university is ignoring, for the first time, by the way, in 5 years. I've been in the negotiations for over 5 years. And there's always been a principle that we applied whenever we're doing salary negotiations. We take into account CPI. By CPI, we mean the annual average CPI of the previous year. We take that into account. There's a component which is negotiated by organized labor. There's a component which is based on your performance, as a staff member. So that's how we usually, conduct salary negotiations. There was a time where we had a 3-year multi-year agreement with the university to give us 7% salary increase. That 7% was structured in what I just explained. There was a CPI component, there was a component which is negotiated by organized labor, there was a component which is for your performance. This was now 2019, 2020. In 2021, when CPI dropped because of COVID and all that, CPI dropped all the way to 3.5%. When we signed the agreement, CPI was sitting around 5.4%. The investor said, no, comrades, let's talk. CPI has dropped too much. Let's renegotiate the last leg of this 3-year agreement. Which, there was a clause, of course, that, said we should CPI, fall by more than 2%, and we must come and negotiate. Then we were forced. We negotiated all the way until November. We only got our salary increase for that year in November. Now, the annual average CPI for 2022 is sitting at 6.9%. Very high. Meaning cost of living is high. The price you're paying today for bread compared to what you're paying last year, it's shocking. It's almost close to double. Now the university is ignoring things like CPI, things like cost of living, petrol. That has been ignored. We are demanding a 10% salary increase. The university is offering us something way below that. And then we said to the university, but how about as a start, we start by applying our formula, which we've been using for the past, 5 years. CPI, organized labor and your performance leg. That has been ignored. All of a sudden, when it's convenient, that formula is not applicable. So we deadlocked on those bases. We referred the matter to the CCMA. As we speak, on the 16th of March, there will be a showdown between us and Wits management at the CCMA. And when we come back, we address the masses how that case went. So we'll be advising everyone, including the media, on what action will follow that after 16 March. Comrades, there's something that's happening at Wits which maybe the students don't know. And we've raised this over for the past 4 years as well. Now, when you enter Wits University now, you start from the gate as a staff member, especially if you are driving. Sometimes you feel like you're entering Conca. You feel like you're entering a nightclub. Because you pay to enter. We pay as staff members to drive our cars inside campus to come to work. You pay. There's something that's called parking fees. We've been telling the university that we believe that thing is a money-making scam. Why should I pay to enter my place of work? It doesn't make sense. We know, come on, we are very responsible leadership, by the way. We know that there's a cost attached to parking. And we said we want to contribute to that cost. Let's review the parking model. Till today, nothing has been done. Because we know as a union that should we review that, it will reveal that actually we've been scammed.
The Wits SRC President Apiwe Mnyamana, together with Nahau and
Wits. There are workers, I'm sure you've seen cleaners that work in the evening. At 3:30, they knock off. They are being dumped at Park Station. Those women, they are being dumped at Park Station to see how do they get home. The law is clear that, if we are doing night work, number one, must be paid a night work allowance. That the university does pay because we ensure that they do pay. Number two, it says the employer must make sure that there is transport available from your place of work to home. So dumping someone at Park Station doesn't mean you ensure that there is transport to take me home. At 3:30 in the morning, we said to the university, let's sit down and discuss and agree on a collective agreement that will cover, regulation of working hours, especially for those workers from the dining halls who knock off, around 7, the cleaners who work until, 3 a.m. and all that. We went to the CCMA, by the way, we deadlocked on that as well. We have clear university policies, by the way, which we are part of. We are part of the stakeholders that is consulted whenever there's a new policy is drafted. Those policies are clear what needs to be done. But we deadlocked because someone decided to misinterpret the police. We went to the CCMA. The commissioner said, no, man, actually, we were offered a chance to go back and draft the collective agreement and agree. But what you don't know, comrades, I'm just a shop steward. But when we get to the CCMA fighting, whether it's a disciplinary case or any dispute, the university sends lawyers to face us. I don't know how many times I've faced lawyers at the CCMA hired by Wits University. And we said to the university, but why are you spending so much on lawyers? Just to face Comrade Tabumudi. Just send one of your people there at Wits to face me. No, they hire lawyers, people who advocates who are qualified to come, but we chow them. Anyway, it's not like us too long. But the fact is, there's so much, wasteful expenditure at Wits. There's a lot of money that's just been wasted. What the students don't know is that since we have not received our salary increase, what does it mean for a worker? It means the salary you were earning in December and the salary you are earning now from the 1st of January. The one of 2023 is less because medical aid increased. Medical aid doesn't care whether you got your salary increase or not. The same medical aid, which is part of your conditions of service, by the way, you have to have medical aid. It's part of your condition of service. But it's part of your condition of service, but the university does not subsidize your medical aid. You're on your own. So, comrades, it's shocking because the university wants to paint this picture that all is well. And it's clear, from the student side, that all is not well. And now, as staff members, we decided, it's high time we speak out. When students see us on campus, they think, we soft life things. No, comrades. It's not like, we, at some point we said to the university, maybe as leadership, the university must take us for counseling because of what we go through. We deal with a lot of cases, comrades, on campus. Staff members are being disciplined every day. Staff members are being fired. We get to the CCMA, university brings lawyers, which is precedent. Is something that must be reviewed seriously. That one, especially the one. There's so much. Even maintenance at work, at VET. It's high time we review how much VET is paying on maintenance. That's maintenance, to change a light bulb. Why should we pay 3,000 for that? How much are the private accommodation service providers spending for maintenance compared to what VET is spending? We need to review that. I respect the comrade of Fort Hare, the VC, who said there are people that are milking the higher education sector. Government does fund a lot of projects, but where is that money going? It comes into the system, and where is it going? It's high time we check exactly who is chowing here. So there's a lot that needs to be reviewed. It's not just about fees, that financial sustainability we can't afford. It's high time that we check where is the money going in the system. The sooner we save, then the sooner funds can be redirected. Fees can be reviewed, President. Accommodation fees can be reviewed as well. The sooner we start checking where is, because the budget of the university probably will show a picture that the university is paying a lot on salaries and benefits. But that's just the budget, by the way. We always say to the university, as organized labor, we don't want to get too much into the subject of budget because we are not consulted as the unions during that time. Because we know that the actual expenditure is lower compared to what is being budgeted. The university likes to throw around phrases like financial sustainability. And as organized labor said, wait. Which financial sustainability are we talking about? President, I don't know if you checked for the past 5 years the annual financial statements of Wits University. It's huge surpluses. In 2016, there's something that was stopped. We tried to fight it as a union, but it was stopped. What is called long service awards. As staff members, if you've served at VETS for a couple of number of years, you used to get like some envelope, to say, I thank you, and a certificate, to say, you've served. Long service awards were stopped in 2016, in the name of financial sustainability, because the university has to, put a provision on the financial statement. A provision on the financial statement, a provision is an accounting entry, yes, but it's not like the physical cash that needs to be paid. It's a provision because, in terms of IFRIS, you have to make that provision. Fine. it's in the name of financial sustainability, but so that the financial statements look well. Now, why the same financial statements which are showing surpluses are not being considered when we talk about financial sustainability? Why don't you consider that for the past 5 years we've been making surpluses? So the 10% that actually the workers are looking for is actually affordable. What the students are requesting can actually be, if we have to say, okay, fine, let's do break even. Let's try to ensure that our actuals, yes, the budget can be a break even budget, but if your actuals are showing a huge surplus, it's either you saved or you underspend, or it's just mismanagement, because the budget is a financial plan. Now, if you don't, reach those targets, it means it's mismanagement. How about we review that as well and say, okay, fine, maybe the budget had some errors. So how about we reshuffle it and try and accommodate, what the students are requesting, which has a cost obviously attached to it, and what the staff members are requesting. But that, comrades, when we are on those negotiation tables, and it's not being considered. So we are being pushed to a corner now where we have no choice but to fight. And it's unnecessary, comrades, to be honest. What we are asking, it's something that is negotiable. We never, at no point did we say that's our final demand. That's why it's called salary negotiations. We are negotiating. But if you are negotiating with a party that is not negotiating in good faith, then you're going to deadlock. You're going to deadlock. It's simple, comrades. We are not, VET is governed by policies and procedures, meaning we are not operating randomly. Same as salary negotiations at VET are not random. There's a process, there's formulas, that you apply. Why when it's convenient, the university does not want now to apply that. So it's a serious problem that we are facing as an unnecessary deadlock on salaries, committee. So don't be surprised, President, when you see us on the marching lines until the bitter end. As NEHAU will be there supporting students, because we know students will be there supporting us as well. Let me stop.
Thank you, Mr. Modise. So we will be noting a round of hands, especially to the media houses, and it's also open to everyone else who might want to ask a few questions just to clear the air as well. Yeah. Yes, and also please state who your question is directed to, because we have NEHAU and we have the SRC president over here. So it's just newsroom, SABC and Vuvuzela. Okay, cool.
Linda from Newsroom Africa. You speak about referring this letter of demand that was sent to you to the lawyers. I wonder then if you view the identification of certain students who are said to have damaged property or forced entry into classes, disrupting classes. Do you view that as targeting students, certain students? And do you not fear that those students may be arrested? We've seen it happen before where students are protesting for fees-related issues and later to be appearing in the courts. Do you not fear a repetition of the same thing?
Okay, it's from SABC News. I just wanted to find out about the issue of the beds. The beds. You say VET is giving you 500 beds, and you guys are demanding basically 1,000. Are you saying that VET is able to because what I'm trying to get a sense is that VET will say, for example, this is my institution, I can be able to afford maybe only 500. Beyond that, I can't. So why do you think that Wits can be able to meet the demand beyond what they're actually able to do?
Okay, thank you. Vuvuzela?
Patrick from Wits University. My question is, given the demand for students to be registered is a yearly thing, what happens when the university agrees to register these students? Will it also be something that takes place also next year and the year after that? Like, is it just a stopgap measure?
I don't know if there's anyone else who wants to be noted. Okay, over to you, President.
Okay. Thank you very much. Just to answer the question from newsroom, we have received a letter. The issue with that letter, we see it as a form of intimidation as students, because as we are saying, our cases are genuine. What we are fighting for is genuine, and vets can be flexible to that. As Mr. Mudise was saying, there are surpluses every year. Last year in council, we were told that we had 900 million surplus. So there is budget for that. And our lawyers said that we must leave the issues of the legal issues to them. So we cannot comment on students and everything. Our legal team will deal with that. But we are seeing it as an act of intimidation versus negotiating in bad faith. Like, imagine, we are students. I'm 23 years old. I'm asking for something which is genuine, which I am sent by students who are here, some of them. We have Samora there. He doesn't have a place to sleep. He says, President, do something. I raise the matter with management, and management says no. I raise against management, they say no. There is no compromise whatsoever. Rather than them compromising, rather than them, this is the issue of resources. Resources are there. If vets can hire bouncers who are 500 24/7, how much are they paying for those bouncers to be on campus 24/7? They can use that money and redirect it to our demands. Rather than them doing that, they are saying we're going to intimidate these young people with lawyers. In that letter, they even wrote Africa's largest legal company. So that was an act of intimidation. And with our lawyers, will deal with that case. Thank you very much. To answer the question of beds. The question of beds, we demand 1,000 beds because students who have came to us, there are over 1,000 beds. 1,000 students who have came to us saying we don't have a place to sleep. So we spoke to vets, and vets said that we can only accommodate 150. And they've given us that concession. But we are saying that 150 is not enough because these students, they will continue to sleep in libraries. Some of them are registered and they do not have accommodation. They are well performing. And if we allow these students to sleep in libraries, next year they will come back with bad marks. And you must ask yourself, why did this student poorly perform? It's because the student was not in a conducive area to study. So they cannot come to us and saying, these are poorly performing students. There is a reason for that performance. And we want us to address that reason. And they're shying away from it. And as I'm saying, there is money at Wits University, but Wits is deliberately excluding black people. It wants to maintain the status quo. As an SRC, we won't sit and watch. You spoke about Vuvuzela, this thing being a yearly thing. And of course, this is an issue with our government. That's why in one of our demands, we are saying the Minister of Higher Education is incompetent. Government must grant free education. Students from other campuses must challenge for free education. And this is a demand which all student leaders are willing to die for. There are protests at UJ. There are protests at UCT every year. And the only solution to this is free education. That's why you see us as Wits students going outside our campus to agitate the government. And we do that peacefully so. So far in this protest, no rubber bullet has been shot at students because we have complied with what the police have asked us. and vets said we looted. If there was any looting or some of that, then a student will be arrested. So vets and white people, this is an issue of white monopoly capital. Vets is an institution which has black faces, but white people taking the decision. And they take those decisions to exclude us black students. And we won't allow the second 100 years of Wits University to be exclusionary. Any questions?
Thank you, President. President Pela. So I'll be noting the second and the last round of hands. I'd really like other people except for media houses to maybe comment or ask questions so that we just don't have the media asking questions. So I'm noting the second and the last round of hands. Newsroom.
Okay.
Can I just note everyone? It's newsroom and SABC and Mr. Bambi and CBOA. There's a hand over there. Her name is Tando.
Yeah.
Tando. Sure. Over to you, Newsroom.
From Newsroom Africa. We spoke to the university yesterday, and what they're telling us is that they will not be extending registration. We understand at this moment it's closed. What is going to happen there? And talk to us about the SRC fund. They are telling us that there is 5 million rand in that particular fund. And they're saying that the delays are on your side. Could that be true? And they're also saying that you are constantly walking out of meetings with the dean of students, and they are open to meeting you. I think they've also said that just at the bottom of that letter that they sent to you, are you still open to negotiation? Are you open to going to the university and speaking to the dean of students in particular? I've got the last question to Nehao. We understand that you've got a certificate for a lunch hour picket, and that you've applied for a certificate to protest. Could that protest happen before your showdown, as you put it, with vets on the 16th? Yeah.
So,
Okay, my question is about this 6,000 versus 200. You guys are saying 6,000, they say no, we only know 200. What exactly, what are you saying? Because they say, actually we should ask you for proof of the 6,000 if we meet you guys. So I don't know if you are able to respond to it.
we have Vuvuzela.
It was Zimbabwe.
Oh, Ms. Mbambi.
Yes, thank you so much. I'm a Wits student. I was traumatized by campus yesterday. You know, when I was coming from the library, trying to go to the lecture, it was very, very, very hostile. I saw rocks flying, and one actually did hit my back. So I want to know from the SRC, because you guys represent me, is there anything that maybe perhaps from the SRC you guys are going to do about the private security that which was called on campus, that was actually throwing rocks at students, even though we were innocently walking? And if at any case, is there anything that perhaps maybe you're also going to do about, as the SRC, the university bringing the police in on our campus, and then also asking the media to leave, but not asking the police to leave, as if both police and media are third parties within the university? So I'd like to know, is there any protection that maybe the SRC can at least guarantee us as students, because we voted for you guys. The campus was not normal for us. We were brutalized by campus control and private security.
Thank you. CBOA?
Yes. My first question is, will you, as the SRC, be calling on all the other universities to join the protest on Monday, given that this is a national issue? There are protests everywhere, but there's less coordination. So will this be more coordinated to call for a national shutdown? Secondly, since the academic year is continuing while there's a protest, will you ask the university when it agrees to your demands to accommodate those that are left behind by the academic year? Oh yes. And thirdly, to the union, how are you not concerned about transformation? Is it happening in the university? Are you not concerned about black directors being fired and so on? When it comes to the infrastructure in the university, we only see the big companies that have been there pre-apartheid pre-freedom, doing construction and so on. Are you not concerned that there's no transformation at all when it comes to that? So it's the purging of staff of black directors. It's also the procurement side of the university. I pause.
Thank you. We had a lady over there, Tando.
I just wanted to ask, what is the SRC's response to what Mr. Biden said, that we are poor performing students and that we use this for political gains?
Sure, noted. I think now I'm going to start with Nihao.
Right. On the matter of certificates to picket, there is actually no such. The process is that when you refer a matter to the CMA, that's where you get the certificate of non-resolution, and then you start the industrial action, which can be a strike, can be a picket, So, but at VETS usually it's been a practice of which we are allowed to do. Once we deadlock, while we're waiting for the CMA process, we start, with our lunch hour picket, but in inverted commas, ideally it's a protest. It's a protest in line with the approved policy of the university on demonstrations and protests. So we do it, hence yesterday we just confined. If you are on the main campus, it must only be by the piazza, the great hostels. So there's certain, they call them areas where you can go and protest only. So we just keep it there until we get the certificate from the CMA. Then now we're talking about picketing rules. We sit now and discuss with the university, say, okay, fine, now we've got a certificate, this policy can sit aside, let's talk about picketing rules on how we're going to picket. So, and I think you wanted clarity with regards to what's going to happen between now until the day of the showdown. We are going to continue with our pickets, in inverted commas, of course. Basically, it's a protest against what has transpired in the negotiations. So, and then usually what happens what had happened in the past, even the year before last, we had a protest. Stroke picket for about 2 days, and then the university called us. We negotiated, and then we managed to find each other. So sometimes that's what I'm saying. Some of these things are necessary. I don't know whether we are being tested as organized labor if we are capable or what. Because usually we'll go on the marching lines for a couple of hours, then we are called. All of a sudden, what we are demanding is possible. So it's unnecessary. It's time wasting, waste of university resources, because we can use that time very productively, to assist the students. But now we have to go to the marching lines. On the issue of transformation, it's a serious one. The university will release nice stats, on transformation, the student demographics and all that. But when it comes to management, there's a serious problem of transformation there. Let's start in J with the deans. How many black women are deans at the university? Mention one. Start J, that's what I'm saying. Let's start there with the deans. I don't want to talk about what's happening in the Faculty of Health Sciences. It's rough there. I, as the branch secretary, I spend a lot of time fighting issues in that faculty. And when you drill down deeper, you understand that these are issues of transformation. We are concerned with what's happening to black directors at Wits University. And we are watching that space like a hawk. You know, there are certain black directors who have left the university under very, questionable circumstances. And they are being replaced by white directors. So it's concerning, it's really, really worrying. It's like now what we fought for over the years is being reversed, And construction projects, you are correct, comrade. It's worrying. The university inserts maintenance staff, né? But we are still seeing a lot of contractors up and down the campus. There's a director that was pushing transformation at Wits University. That director was working for the maintenance department. That comrade pushed transformation, especially even within the contractors themselves. Started seeing a bit of transformation. Now that is no longer there, as the union, we are seeing some changes. Companies which were no longer there are all of a sudden they are back. Yet we have staff members who are employed to do maintenance. That just, campus, I don't understand. I don't know what they are doing. I see they're wearing a uniform, but if you're still going to hire an external company to come and paint student rooms, then why did you insource the staff? So hence I'm saying there's a lot of wasteful expenditure that must be reviewed at Wits. There's it's like serious review of wasteful expenditure. Where is the money going? Why must the money exit the system? Why can't the money work for us? Transformation is deeper than that, comrades. There's an office at Wits University which is responsible for transformation. As a union, we are asking ourselves, do they have a clue what is transformation? Wits is so backwards. We had a case that we dealt with not so long ago. A comrade that needed to, that's going through, your traditional, processes whereby you need to go your TWASA and all that. That comrade, sometimes, when she's going through that process, times are rough, she can't come to work, we are blacks here, we know these things. Sometimes you find a person that might disappear for 2 months, no one knows where the person is, even the family, because of these processes. That comrade, even though explaining to the university that the comrade is going through this, the comrade was charged with abscondment. And we said, Wits is backwards. How can you say someone has absconded when the person, the people, no, they'll start putting the leave policy. The leave policy that has nothing to do with what you are going through that there, as a person. So transformation at Wits, it is deeper, it's not transformed. That university is not transformed. It's still behind. It's still white in its policies. So as a union, we are fighting that as well. The transformation is on our table. We want the transformation pillars of the university to be reviewed. Once we review those transformation pillars, then we'll transform, we'll dig deeper into. When the university now posts around to say the population of black students, is higher now. Yes, that number increased, but did you change policies to accommodate the change? You insourced a lot of staff members. Did you change policies to also, accommodate those changes? No, nothing. So it's a serious problem. that, people must know about. That transformation at Wits is behind, is way, way behind. I pause.
Thank you, Mr. Modise. Over to you, President.
Thank you. I'll just begin with Tando's question. Tando just spoke about what the Secretary General of the ANC posted. So when I saw that post from Mr. Mbalula, I was really concerned but not surprised. My concern was to say, what is Fikile Mbalula? Is he a celebrity or a politician? Because as a politician, you ought to be conscious with something. He made an utterance which is really, really not conscious. He must first ask, why are those students failing? You're a politician, you study society. That's the first question you ask. Why are they failing? Do research. Come to us as SRC, speak to us, we'll explain to you. They are failing because of such policies that Mr. Modise was speaking about. So I'm really, really concerned that a leader of a liberation movement who is in charge of deployment in our country can utter such things recklessly. But I'm not surprised. That's why we are here as a country. Secondly, you spoke about academics and the strike. How can we accommodate academics and the strike? So after this press briefing, we are going to ASAU, which is academic unions. And they've said to us, your concerns are genuine. Your demands are legitimate. We are having a meeting with ASAU. We are going to ask ASAU to suspend classes. And ASAU is willing to hear us. And with the issue, when classes are suspended, then there must be a concession from Wits University to say, how do we then accommodate those students who are affected by the strike? How do with the Vice Chancellor. Sibulele Mbabi, you raised the issue of not feeling safe on campus. And this is an issue which we are crying about. There is no access for students at our campuses, but there is access for police, there is access for bouncers. Legally, after fees must fall, there is a rule that says policemen should not enter our campuses. The police were telling us that we are not supposed to be here, but we are forced by Wits management. They said, you are destroying property. So they brought police to intimidate students because they are not willing to negotiate. That shows the sign that they are very arrogant. They will rather bring police, they will rather bring bouncers, give them access to our campuses and deny us students access. That's the issue we are fighting for. Give us access. We deserve to be there. We want to make our lives better. Give us access. So with those cases, as an SRC, in our meeting, we'll raise those concerns. And I will say we must report those bouncers who are harassing you to external police. The same way they're doing to us. We must report them. I want to answer newsroom. Mr. Linda, you spoke about the SRC doesn't want to negotiate. I was elected, I assumed office on the 1st of November. So from the 1st of November, I spoke with the Vice Chancellor. I said, these are the demands. These are the demands from the students. These are not my demands. These are not my personal demands. These are the demands from the students. See a way of accommodating these demands. Then we're going to have a peaceful academic year. From the 1st of November, I spoke to the dean. The dean said, I will hand it over to the Vice Chancellor. I will hand it over to the Vice Chancellor. From the 1st of November till the 1st of March, how many months is that? I think it's roughly 5 months we've been negotiating. But then the dean says, I will speak to the Vice Chancellor. And now we're like, there is no need for speaking with the dean because the dean cannot make those decisions. Let us speak with the Vice Chancellor and give us something. We are negotiating here. The university does not want to negotiate. If as an SRC we are saying students who are owing less than 150,000 must register. and you see that this causes problem in your campus, why don't you negotiate and say, at least students who are, give us options, negotiate. That's the end deal, but give us option. So the university just say no. And as Thabo Modise says, we know it is feasible because we sit at those council meetings. We know the reserves of the university. So that's where the frustration begins. We know it is feasible. We are asking you, we are saying no. We are not even giving us something to say, I can consider this, I can consider this. You always defer our matter, you always defer our matter. And about the SRC fund, this is one thing I want to make it clear as an SRC. When we released our first statement to say, for us to be able to continue normally, students who are owing must register. We then said as an SRC, what can we do from our side to raise funds and assist these students? If you can remember, as an SRC, we went on a cleaning campaign where we cleaned Hillbrow Clinic because Hillbrow Clinic was very dirty. There was a pile of rubbish at the entrance of Hillbrow Clinic. And as students of Wits, we used that clinic. And we said we're going to go and clean that clinic because our students go there and ask for donors to donate money. And the Mutsipes donated 1 million to the SRC. We've had money from Investec, which is 2.7 million, which was donated to us. But that money is not enough. The number of students who applied to our fund, it requires 33 million. The number of students who applied, if we were to accommodate all those students. And us as an SRC, we believe that all these students, they qualify to come back. So now, as student leaders, we have, for example, 10 students who qualify for the fund. And now the fund can only accommodate 2. What must happen with the 8? Hence, we are asking for that concession. Because if Wits University can give us that concession, then the 8 can be resolved. We cannot turn the blind eye on the 8. We have assisted the 2. We have played our part. We showed that we want to negotiate with you. We want to do something. We did not just fold hand. We fundraised money. And now the money which is left, as I'm saying, the SRC fund, cannot cater to all of the students who have applied. And if Wits, to answer SABC, if Wits is really speaking the truth and saying only 200 students are left, then it means that's a lower number. They can register all those students. And that's our demand. All students who are not registered, let them be registered. So when we are saying 6,000, they're saying we are lying, they're saying it's 200. Then register that 200, all of it, if it's 200. It's simple as that.
Sure.
Yeah, I think I've covered all questions.
Covered.
Or with the shutdown, okay. With the shutdown, we've been negotiating, we've been in meetings with presidents from other universities, and the NFSAS issue is a government issue, it's a pressing issue, which we cannot let slide. In the past, there were exemptions to explain. Wits will get exemption because around the city, like the rates are too high. And one thing which we frustrate us as student leaders is say, Wits universities in South Africa are public entities. Wits is a public entity. NFSAS is also from the government. So if South Point charges 50,000 a bed, South Point is there to make money. You as government are here to service us as people. Why don't you say to South Point, I will give you subsidies for electricity and water so that the prices can be low. Prices can go down if the government wants to. If there are subsidies, there are no subsidies. South Point pays exactly the money that businesses pays. But this is student, this is education. Do not commodify education. That's our fight. And all other SRC members are willing to join. And that's why already they are joining the protest. And on Monday, if our needs are not met, really, the country will be ungovernable. Thank you very much.
So we will be concluding the briefing. As the President has stated, we have to meet the Vice Chancellor and the rest of his team, and we are pushed for time right now. So we hope that any misconceptions and propaganda that has been all over social media has been cleared. Just to state, we just want society to know that, especially the university, to know that we will not be silenced and we will not be intimidated until we get what we want. Thank you. You may be dismissed.
Thank you. Okay. What's the time? Yeah, my government is also in the
So that you can send I saw you there. Hey,